Welcome to Wild Church. Today's Wild Worship will be focused on a sense of place, interdependence, connectedness and belonging. We will be reminded that it is He, God, that made us and we are His, and that we each have our place in the family of things. This gathering will be more reflective than active, although some activity ideas have been included at the end of the service. This has been a collaborative effort to put this service together. Geraldine and Sarah from Swaffham Methodist Church, a professional musician and composer, have provided the musical reflection throughout this service.
You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination. Calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of living things.
Welcome to a guided meditation called Pleasures of Presence. I invite you to take a moment to look around and notice where you are. What are you noticing? What do you see in this place? It could be the birds fluttering in the trees above. What are the clouds doing? Are the trees moving? When you feel ready, I invite you to close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Notice your body, how it feels to be supported by the earth below our feet. Notice your soles and the sensations you feel. Notice how your feet feel with the connection they have made. Rest your arms gently by your side. body slowly for areas of tension, areas of unrest or stress. Maybe your head or neck is tight. Maybe you notice your shoulders are held high. Let go of any knots in your stomach or your heart. Relax your arms, relax your hands, relax your legs. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Just relax. Imagine roots, as if your body is a tree. Let your legs and the soles of your feet descend as if they are the roots of a tree. Your feet extend deep, deep into the ground, deep into the core of the earth. You may notice you have very thick roots that firmly pull you down. Roots that connect you to the energy and strength of the earth. You may have some thinner roots that spread out to cover more area, ensuring more security and abundance. Notice how the sky around us holds us in its way. How we are surrounded by other living beings. How our thoughts arise and fall away, welcoming all of it. And we move our attention to our sense of touch. What can you feel? Noticing the sensations on our skin. I invite you to hold your hands with your palms turned forward. What kind of textures can you feel? Are there a variety of sensations? What does it feel like on your bare skin? Now turning our attention to our sense of hearing. What sounds are around us? Noticing the variety of sounds. The distances, near and far. I wonder if there are any rhythms in the sound around us, and if they interact with each other, and how the individual sounds may combine like chords or a symphony. Now exaggerate the sound of your own breathing, just enough so you can hear it, so it blends in with the sounds around you. What is it like to be part of the symphony of this place? Now turning our attention to the combined senses of taste and smell. Opening our mouths and breathing through our mouths and nose together. Noticing the textures of the air. I wonder if there are any scents that were not at first apparent. How these scents reveal themselves slowly and subtly, and what other qualities the air has. And keeping our eyes closed, turn towards what feels like east, where the sun rises. Don't worry about how accurate you are. Just take this opportunity to feel. And with our hands out and our entire body sensing as one knowing organ, just feel the presence of east. And notice what it is like.
Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord is God. It is he that made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him, bless his name, for the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations.
Something I have been continually confronted with these past weeks is the connectedness of things. That each of us belong. It's cropped up in my reading, my prayer times, the things people are sharing with me. There are good news stories of people being innovative and connecting in new and creative ways to help people be part of something in this lockdown. In a letter from the Bishops of Norwich, they write that we are a series of interlinked local communities. They encourage us to look out for our neighbours. It's this connectedness that makes a difference. The Church Times had a piece on the 3rd of April written by Christopher Steele that society has an obligation to take far more seriously the social impact of disconnection and isolation, and on the Church to take this more seriously too. What about the people for who this is the norm? Those that cannot leave their homes, that cannot attend church. What about their belonging and connectedness? I follow a pioneer on Twitter with the handle @youbelong_2019. This is an online community of people with chronic illness and disability, raising awareness of the missing Christians and connecting the online and offline church together. We need to take seriously the social impact of disconnection and isolation. The connectedness of things has never been more apparent to me than when I was standing amongst the trees undergoing a guided pleasures of presence meditation, and my attention was turned towards my sense of hearing. What sounds was I noticing? The rhythm in the sounds around me, and if they interact with each other, and how the individual sounds may combine like chords or a symphony. I was invited to exaggerate the sound of my own breathing just enough so I could hear it, so it blends in with the sounds around me. I was asked what it was like to be part of a symphony of the place. I was struck that I was part of something much bigger than myself. I was connected and I belonged. Perhaps you've taken part in the guided meditation included in this video. Notice your reaction to being part of the place in which you stand. Alistair McIntosh is a writer of a book called Spirit and Soul, Roots, Belonging and Place. He was interviewed about his book and emphasises this grounding in place. He says, "Place is a very human combination of environment and culture, as well as being our location in reality as shared with the non-human world." He goes on to say, "Only if people have a sense of grounding in place do they have a social basis on which to build a sense of identity, which will carry with it a sense of responsibility that will feed back into reinforcing the cohesion of a sense of place." He calls this the cycle of belonging. This cycle of belonging, or interdependence, has never been more magnified than at this time. We depend on those on the front line to go to work, to heal the sick, teach the children, stock the shelves, deliver the post, and an array of other tasks. And we depend on everyone else to stay at home, save lives, and protect the NHS. There are no outsiders. We all belong, and we all have our part to play to make this work. As the poet Mary Oliver wrote, we each have a place in the family of things. Whatever you have heard before, I want you to know you are loved and you belong. Mary Oliver's poem, Wild Geese, holds the essence of what Wild Church is seeking to achieve. The poem speaks of regaining the childhood wonder of nature. This poem speaks to me of letting go of guilt of not being good enough or not fitting. Let's get beyond the rules of religion and see that we are called to be in relationship. Our lives are lived indoors and increasingly sterile. Nature is the opposite. It's chaotic, unpredictable, dangerous, dirty, but immensely beautiful. Look outside from our tiny subjective world and we might see that we are part of something much bigger. We are part of the great symphony of things. Geese flying is a metaphor of freedom, and home is going back to the stage of life when we still looked at the world with childlike wonder. When did you last feel freedom like that? Wild Church also seeks to connect spirituality and nature with the Franciscan approach. In the Grove booklet on Forest Church by Kate Williams, she states, "There is an understanding here that all creation is part of the community of people and creatures of God. Humanity is not alone, but stands in our worship of God within a bigger gathering that encompasses all that God has made." She quotes Leonardo Boff, "Human beings are not shut up in their tiny human world. They live with the great community of life and include in their love all beings of creation. We are bound up in the symphony of place. Just step outside, close your eyes, and notice where your attention is drawn. We are part of something much bigger than ourselves, the more than human world. The psalmist says, "It is He, God, that made us, and we are His." I know not everyone connecting with World Church will necessarily connect with the image of God, and for some that isn't helpful language. But know you have been created and have a place of belonging in the symphony of this place. You have a place in the family of things. Psalm 100 is a call to all nations to worship God. There is no segregation. God is creator of all. Psalms were written to help communities of faith reflect on life, written in the middle of the experience of life, and reflect how the writer is feeling. I have written out Psalm 100 as an acrostic in my own words. Why not try writing your own psalm on the theme of belonging, or just to let God know how you are feeling? Bring your whole and real self before God. I invite you to belong. Belief is your own personal journey. Echo the praise of creation towards our Creator God. Let your whole being worship. Our Good Shepherd looks after his flock. Never stop being thankful or giving praise. God's love is for all people, all generations, especially you.
We are not people of fear. We are people of courage. We are not people who protect our own safety. We are people who protect our neighbour's safety. We are not people of greed. We are people of generosity. We are your people, God, giving and loving, wherever we are, whatever it costs, for as long as it takes, wherever you call us. Amen.